Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to AJ101, Criminal Law. The section number is 1671. This is the spring 2017 semester, and of course, this is an online class. My name is Tony Farrar. I'm your instructor for the semester, and I'll give you a little bit of introduction about myself in just a few minutes, but again, just kind of let you know where you're supposed to be. This is an online AJ101 criminal law course. The section is 1671, and tonight we are going to be doing a syllabus review. So that is our lecture for this evening. My name is, again, Tony Farrar, and I'm your instructor for this semester. A little bit about myself. I have over 35 years of law enforcement experience. I recently retired in December of 2015 from the City of Rialto Police Department as a police chief. I started my career in Compton, California in Los Angeles County, and most people know where that is. And I've worked like a whole bunch of different assignments. And what I hope to do is to give you the knowledge base that I've learned over, or at least some of it anyway, over the last 34 to 35 years, and to help you in any way that I can get through this class. And criminal law, a very interesting subject, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun this semester as we go through this. So as far as my education goes, I have a master's degree in administration of justice. I have a master's of business administration, and I have a third master's in criminology from the University of Cambridge in England, of all places. So I can bring you a perspective from not only law enforcement in the United States, but also from working with and learning with other police chiefs and staff members from around the world when I went through that program in Cambridge. So hopefully that's something that I can impart on you as well. So as we take a look at the syllabus tonight, because that's what we're here to kind of go through, I have, of course, my name, my information, the address of the campus where I'm at. Now, right now, I'm at the San Jacinto campus for this spring semester, but in the fall of 2017, I will be moving over to the Menifee campus, but I will still be teaching kind of all over at different campuses. So I'll give you a little more information on that as it kind of comes forward. My phone number, the desk for my office, is 951-487-3505. You can reach me by email at wfarrar@msjc.edu, and that is the best way to get a hold of me. I'm pretty good with email, so if you email me, I will get back to you right away, or at least within 24 hours. I am on Twitter, at Professor Farrar. Bear with me, though. I'm not the best tweeter, if that's the proper way to say that, so if you choose to use that as part of your communication with me, just bear with me as I get a little bit better at that. I have office hours on the San Jacinto campus. My office number is 1254B, and Mondays and Wednesdays, the times are pretty much, well, they are exactly the same, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., 12:30 to 1:30 p.m., and then 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. This is an online class, so while you may not need or want to meet with me during office hours, I will be online monitoring the class, specifically Wednesday and Thursday nights from 7:30 to 9:30, and I will have a general discussion board posted in the discussion board area on Blackboard to where if you have a question, you can post it, and either myself or another student can answer your question if they happen to know the answer as well. So sometimes they can get to you a little bit quicker than I can. So AJ101, criminal law. If you do want to email me, which again is the best way to contact me, please preface it in your email by putting that in the subject line, AJ101, 1671 criminal law, or at least AJ101 criminal law, and then your name. So that way I know which class you're emailing me regarding, because I have 7 classes this semester, and because of that, I may not remember every single person, and it's just easier for me to figure out who you are if you give me kind of a heads up on something like that. So that'll definitely help me. So looking at the red area here, which we're going to look at kind of like right here now, syllabus is a living document subject to change during the semester. So I will send you any changes via an email or announcements. You'll get a lot of announcements from me, so don't go crazy. I send them out not necessarily because of changes, but I might be adding something to Blackboard I want you to see, like a job opening or a video link or something else that's really cool that I want you to see, or something that I think is cool that you should see. So please pay attention to those announcements as they come through, because again, these dates and times and things, especially for exams and quizzes and what have you, can change. Typically they don't, but they can. So I just want you to be aware of things like that. So print out a copy, keep it in your office, your room, wherever that you think you might need it, where you can have access to it. Course description. This is an introductory course into the history and philosophy of law enforcement. And we hope to kind of accomplish a lot of different things. And right now, what I hope you to kind of glean through some of the course learning objectives would be to be able to kind of articulate and discuss the structural framework of the criminal justice system, like, the structural framework of criminal statutory law, and defining and analyzing the concepts of certain phrases that you'll hear, like mens rea or actus rea or corpus delicti. What does that really mean? Although it sounds really cool. Be able to analyze the historical origins of American criminal law. Where did it come from? Why do we have it? Why do we even need it? To be able to differentiate situations using the laws, which are kind of in the penal code, which is this big, huge book of codes that has all kinds of things and information in it. And hopefully we can kind of, talk about those things. And then finally, to appraise and kind of value, if you will, of landmark case decisions and the impact that some of these decisions have on modern society. And is an example, to not get too far off into a lesson, because this is just about the syllabus, but let's just take the death penalty. What if there was a case law that said, hey, you can't have it anymore, or hey, you have to have it all the time, or whatever? There are case laws out there that impact these things, and we're going to learn about some of those laws as we kind of go through. So your textbook, here it is. I put a little picture in there so you can see what it looks like, but there's the author's information, the title, the publisher. It is the 2016 book. There's the 2 ISBN numbers if you need them. Down below, the penal code is optional. Honestly, you don't need it. If you have one, great. If you don't, that's okay. You can go to this link that I posted here in red, or you can go to Google, type in California Penal Code, whatever the code is, and you will get basically whatever you need. So you really don't need it, but if you have it, that's okay too. So some of the expectations I have, okay, this is a pretty fast-paced class with a lot of reading, and not like overbearing reading, but you have to read the chapters, because at the end of the day, I don't want you to just memorize stuff. I want you to be able to apply it. And if I were to ask you a question, you could apply it to the case and understand why you applied it and how you applied it. So those are really kind of important pieces here. So, you're going to have weekly lectures and, quizzes and a couple of, chapter tests and what have you, but you need to read the book. It's very, very important. So your expectations, that you'll participate in a mix of activities that will help you kind of understand where this class is coming from. So reading the required materials, PowerPoints, lecture notes, articles, textbooks, chapters, viewing the weekly videos relating to each chapter if I post it. Now I do PowerPoints with audio and PowerPoint without. So if you don't want to hear my boring voice, don't listen to it on the audio version of the PowerPoint lecture. Use the other one. If you like my voice, for whatever reason you might, then you can listen to me talk. Maybe you're tired and you need to go to sleep and you want to hear somebody talk you into sleepness or what have you. So there's that. Participating in thoughtful, timely discussions on the discussion board. We will have discussion boards and the topics will be posted. Completing the online and timed quizzes, the online and timed exams, and then a midterm writing assignment. Don't panic. If you've taken one of my classes before, I will help you get through the written assignment, okay? And we'll talk more about that later on in this review. So with all that being said, failure to participate in discussion boards, missing quizzes, exams, failing to turn in assignments, or combinations of all of those things can cause you to be dropped from the class. Now, I can tell you, one of the big things that people have a problem with is time management in online courses, because they forget that there's a quiz or they forget there's a test. Now, because the way that I structure these classes, you have a week to do kind of all of your work for the week. So I will break the weeks up into folders. You'll see it when you go into the content area on Blackboard. It'll say week 1, week 2, week 3. You click on that folder, it opens up, and all your stuff is in there, with the exception of maybe the midterm essay or extra credit. And you'll see that on the navigation tab, the links to the left in Blackboard. But for the most part, everything you need is in those folders, so you can't really mess up. Everything is there. And you have 6 to 7 days to do just the stuff that's in there. And I'll walk you through a couple of examples of what might be in there in just a few minutes. If you're not sure if you're ready, I put some information in about online readiness, and there's a link there in blue right here to where you can basically go and kind of assess yourself to see if you're ready for an online class, because you do have to pay attention. So keep in mind that, those are really important things. So participating in discussion boards, this is an important feature for the class. There's a total of 4. The first one is kind of a survey or check-in. So that one is super important, because you're going to be checking in with me so I know you're in the class. So please make sure that you do that one, and we'll talk about the rest of them. Okay, they're not for credit, but if you're on the bubble, I might bump your grade up or something like that because you participated well in the discussion board. So don't just think that these are there and I'm trying to fill time with making sure that I know that you're out there and in the class. These are important topics that we're going to talk about, and they are very relevant to some cases that we'll discuss as well. Moving on, technology responsibility, it's yours. It's not mine. So you're responsible for your computer equipment, your internet connection, independent of the campus. You're going to have to plan your coursework to be able to finish all of the stuff you need to finish within the week, regardless of whatever happens to your computer. So don't send me a text message or a tweet or something that your computer blew up, caught on fire, or the dog ate it or something like that. You need to have a backup plan in place, which is why I tell everyone, don't wait until the last half an hour before your quiz is due and then you start it. And then inevitably Murphy's Law pops up and you can't get it done because something happened to whatever connection or something like that. So do yourself a favor and leave yourself time or have a backup plan, okay? Functions of Blackboard I use a lot of these quite frequently. So when you log in the first week, move around in Blackboard, click on those links to the left in the navigation pane so you can see what they are and where they go, because they all mean something. I have one for careers and jobs. I have one for the AJ Club. I have one for extra credit for your midterm paper. All of these links are on that left right there, independent of the content stuff or the information stuff, and that way you can kind of see what is in there. So let's look at a couple of important ones. I would highly recommend, though, that you check your announcements or Blackboard twice a week. I really think you should, because that'll keep you up to speed, fresh on anything that I've been putting in there or posting. So information, this is where the syllabus is located. There'll be other instructions related to assignments that might be posted there. I'll have some information on myself in there. There'll be some videos on the courts, the different levels of courts, like the Supreme Court and the Appellate Court, and those things will be stuck in that information area. So that's a good place for you to go. Content, this is where the content for each week is located. Here, you'll be able to find lectures, PowerPoints, audio PowerPoints, links to videos, articles, exams, and quizzes. The goal is for you to be able to find everything for each week in the weekly folder, and each one will be marked very clearly. And the example that I list right here is week number 1. That's the week 1 folder. Now, we'll talk about it in a minute, but I opened the class week on Wednesday at 5 p.m. and I closed the class week on the following Tuesday at 11 p.m. So anything in there has to be done within 6 to 7 days. Does that make sense? Okay. Discussions. This is where our group discussions are going to take place. On discussion board, there's a separate link on the left. This is, we'll talk about various topics. Again, there's going to be 4. One of them is just the check-in, so that one kind of counts, but it doesn't count, if you know what I mean. But it is important, as the other ones are, because I need to know that you're in the class and you're alive and breathing and things like that. Announcements, pretty self-explanatory. This is where you're going to find announcements for the class, and I'm going to send out a lot. And again, it'll be jobs. Maybe I'm having a presenter at a face-to-face class, and it might be interesting. So you'll still get an invite, even though you're in an online class. If you want to show up to one of my courses and hear the person speak, you can do that as well. So announcements, important tools. Another part of the gradebook function, and you can monitor your grades, so please take a look at that. There's a help area, extra credit. This is where there's going to be extra credit. Okay, this extra credit assignment is worth 10 points. That's a lot of points when you're talking about a semester. And I'll give you one other extra credit opportunity that I'll talk about in a second. But this is very time and date specific, if you will. And I'll show you as we move further through the syllabus review where that's located and what it entails. But you can get up to 10 points of extra credit here. Just real quick, I don't want to leave extra credit before I say this. It's important that you do the extra credit, because here's what I mean. If you miss a quiz, that's 10 points. Well, the extra credit, you can get up to 10 points, so that'll take care of that one. But that's why time management's important, because if you miss 2 or 3 quizzes, that's 30 points. Short of extra credit, there's no way you can make those points up. So that's why, again, time management is super, super important. Instructional methods, things we're going to do: lectures, news articles, some visual aids like video and things like that, PowerPoints, class participation on the discussion board end, written assignments, quizzes, exams. All of these things are going to be part of how we're going to kind of learn together this semester. If you need support, there's academic support that you can find at the Learning Resource Center. A lot of people go there for understanding, maybe getting some writing information on APA and things, but we'll talk more about that in a little bit as well. Code of conduct, well, this is an online course, so it is available in the MSJC catalog. I encourage you to read it, but really more importantly is kind of a little bit of netiquette is what we're going to call. I've got some links down here that will take you to important websites for case information, but also netiquette information, meaning like how to be fair on the internet and when we use these discussion boards. So the only thing I want to say on this is please understand that discussion boards are meant to facilitate discussions and people's input, and understand that everybody has an opinion and we should all respect everybody's opinion. I respect yours. I may not agree with you 100% and you may not agree with me, but your opinion is your opinion and I value that. So let's please watch profanity and things like that on the discussion boards. It's meant, again, to facilitate just good discussion, because that's healthy for all of us. Exams and quizzes. The quiz and exam questions will come directly from the textbook, lectures, PowerPoints, or articles or videos. Each week you'll have a reading assignment, a PowerPoint, and you'll have the audio version as well. And if you click on the text of any video that I post, you can get text from it. So if you click on closed caption, the text will be available for you if by chance you need that or you like that. So you'll have, every week you'll have the reading assignment, the PowerPoint lecture, and a short 10-question quiz. Those quizzes are important because you may see some of those questions in a similar format, maybe not the same, but similar on your chapter test. So study hard for the quizzes, because those are the foundation for your chapter tests, if you will, okay? And again, read the chapters. That way you can understand the actual meaning of some of these things. Don't skip things. Take the time to read through the chapters, understand the definitions and things like that, and that will really help you in this criminal law course, because there's a lot of information that's going to be coming out. In addition to the lectures and the reading, there's going to be 3 chapter exams, 4 discussion boards. As I pointed out, 1 is a check-in, so basically kind of 3. The midterm writing assignment, and all of those dates are listed for you in the back in the course content of the syllabus, and we'll get to that as well. So keep in mind, again, that as far as the weeks go, as we're looking down here, or right here now, All lectures, quizzes, exams, discussion boards will be posted on Wednesday nights at 5 o'clock. That's when the week opens. And the week closes the following Tuesday night at 11 p.m. 6 to 7 days to complete everything in the little folder. So understand there's no makeups. So do your best, okay? Note, very important note right here. On the weeks where you have a chapter exam, you're still going to have a quiz. Okay, take the quiz first, the short 10-question quiz first, and that will help you as you go into your chapter exam. And I'll show you an example of what I mean. You may have to do both in one weekly folder, okay? So very, very important that you understand that. So here's the grading, the way it's a point system. So it makes it very simple, 90%, 80%, 70%, 60%, and what have you. So if we look down here at the breakdown, your Chapter 1 exam is 50 points, Chapter 2 exam is 50, Chapter 3 exam is 50. It's not, your final is not inclusive, meaning you don't have questions from Chapter Exam 1 and Chapter Exam 2 or anything previous. It'll be whatever it is. So if your final might just be the last 4 or 5 chapters of the textbook, if that makes any sense. So we're not going to make you remember things from day number 1. Your midterm paper, 30 points, your quizzes, 150. So 10, you'll have 15 10-question quizzes. Your total possible points are 330. And again, you'll have some extra credit. You'll have at least 10 points from the extra credit assignment if you choose to do it. And then you will have the possibility of 5 additional extra credit points, maybe more, but I'll throw this one out now. If you do the Perkins survey, you'll get a survey link and an email from the college about the Perkins survey. It takes like 30 seconds to do. If you do that, I'll give you 5 points. You don't have to tell me that you did it. I have an electronic roster. Once you do it, I will be notified that you've done it. And at the end of the semester, I print that out for extra credit. So you'll have that. Have a couple of important dates here. I'm not going to go through all of these, but just kind of take a look at those. Your midterm research paper, the subject is here for you. So you're going to write a brief, and it'll tell you a little bit about it. It's the case law Terry versus Ohio. And what I'm looking for are these 5 components. You need at least 2 references. There's no makeup on this, okay? So I'll show you the due date on it. Your paper needs to be 3 pages long, double-spaced, 12-point font. The cover page and the reference page don't count as 2 out of your 3 pages, so it'll be 5 total. Face page, 3 pages of text, and then a reference page. So there you go. If you need help on APA formatting, I have a link right here to OWL Purdue, which is a great place to go. Also, I believe in the information area, there's a PDF file that you can open that I wrote, basically a paper on how to write a paper. It's very short, gives you some good information. I posted a PowerPoint on how to cite your references, and it's color-coded, so it'll make it very easy for you to understand how to do your references. And again, we'll cover more of this as we start to get into next semester. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this next subject because you all know what it is, but plagiarism basically means that you're copying somebody's information and not giving them credit for whatever it is their thought or statement is. So here is some information on plagiarism. Please read it, okay? So it's very, very important that you understand what plagiarism is and what citing is and what have you. So finally, the course outline. So let's look at a couple of, excuse me, a little bit of cough. Let's look at a couple of examples of the course outline here where you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. So week 1, if you go into Blackboard and you click on the week 1 folder, it's going to open up. It opens on January 18th at 5 o'clock p.m., which means that this week will close on Tuesday night at 11 p.m. on January 24th, the day before this next one opens. Okay? For this week, you have student check-in, course information expectations, syllabus review, what I'm doing tonight. You'll have a syllabus PDF file that you can thumb through or just look through. Or if you'd rather hear me speak, which I don't know why, but okay, if you do, you can listen to me review the syllabus. and maybe you need like to take a nap or go to sleep, and my voice will put you to sleep or something like that. And then you'll have discussion board number 1, which is your check-in assignment. That's all you need to do for week number 1 in that folder. The following week is different. You'll have chapter 1. That's what we're going to start on. Scope and course and source, of criminal law. There'll be a PowerPoint lecture. There'll also be an audio PowerPoint lecture if you want that, and a week 1 quiz. That's it for week 2. Okay, so again, time management here. You have a whole week. Week 3, same thing. But let's go to week 4, same thing. Let's go to week 5 because it's a little bit different. So you have your chapter 4 is what the lecture is going to be on, capacity to commit crimes. So you have the lecture. You're going to have your weekly quiz, so number 4, quiz 4, even though it's week 5, but it'll tell you. And then your discussion board number 2. That's an assignment. So remember, you'll have one extra thing to do here. And then let's go to week 6, because then it gives you kind of the full picture of how this looks. Our weekly lecture will be chapter 5, parties to a crime. Okay, you'll have the PowerPoint lecture and the audio if you want. You'll have weekly quiz number 5, you can see right here, but you'll also have your first chapter exam on chapters 1 through 5. So you have basically two tests to take. One's a quiz. Do that one first, the short quiz, because you might see some of similar type questions on your chapter exam. So do the small one first, the big one second. So that just kind of shows you the layout on how the class goes, and it's kind of the same way. Week 10, okay, I want to bring this to your attention before we close here, is spring break, and this is your extra credit time. So it doesn't line up exactly with the week off, I mean, because of the way that the weeks go, but just kind of bear with me. So March 22nd at 5 p.m. basically is your spring break week, all the way through March 28th at 11 o'clock at night, which is Tuesday night. So that week, you don't have any assignments in this week number 10, unless you want to do the extra credit. If you do, which I suggest you should, you go to the extra credit icon or the link on the left in your navigation pane on Blackboard. You click on that, and there's the assignment. It's only open during this week. So if you want the extra credit for this, you have to do it during the week. Okay? Week 11. So we kind of just go through so you understand how everything goes all the way down to the final exam week. And just to point out, because we're not going to be able to make it through every chapter, we'll try, but we probably won't, which is why, remember, living document, things can change. Your final chapter exam is going to be missing a couple chapters. So your final should be on chapters 11, 12, 14, 15, and 17. If that changes, I'll let you know way, way ahead of time. But I just wanted you to understand what chapters we'll be going over. So that's kind of the syllabus in a nutshell. I'll be sending out a lot of different announcements as we get closer. More than likely, the course will open for you to start kind of getting into on January 9th, which is a Monday. Remember, though, our first week is actually Wednesday the 18th, okay? Don't forget your extra credit options that are out there. I will also more than likely offer one other extra credit option, which might be going to like a DNA lab on a campus or something like that, or maybe going somewhere else. But those are things that'll come up, but you can't depend on those, okay? So again, be very thoughtful of your time and knowing that you have to get your quizzes done. So, I mean, think about it. If you miss 2 or 3 quizzes, that's like, 20 to 30 points, and it's going to be really tough for you to make that back up, okay? So that's why it's really important that you stay up to speed as it relates to, time management and what have you. If there are any other questions, please feel free to email me or post them on the general discussion board. Anybody can, of course, respond back to another student because we're all friends here to try to help them out if I don't get back to them right away. One final word on the tests and the quizzes. If there's something mislabeled, misworded, or the question is kind of lame or whatever, and you feel that it's a bad question, you can always email me and I'll look into it. Sometimes I catch bad questions. I've had a couple of students catch some questions where the textbook answer wasn't exactly right. So what that means is don't email me every day or text me 1,000 times a day and say, hey, this question's wrong, because I've gone through them a couple of times. But every once in a while, there'll be just a bad question. And if I find that, I'll give everybody credit. I'll send out an announcement that'll say, hey, everybody, on quiz number 2, question so-and-so was a bad question. So even though you missed it, don't worry about it. I'm going to go back in. I'll add the point to your grade book. So no worries when it comes to things like that. Feel free to do that. But just because you miss it doesn't mean it's a bad question. Okay, so let's kind of have that understanding, at least up front. Other than that, if you want to know more about me, you can go to the faculty website or the MSJC website. Go to the faculty webpage, and I have some information about me up there. There's information on your Blackboard in the information area that tells a little bit about myself as well. Don't forget, everything is divided up into weeks. If you need some information ahead of time, please, please, please email me, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. And if you're wondering if you can complete this class without the book, I'm going to tell you probably not. You need the book because this isn't a class about memorizing. Okay, and if it is, and you're a super duper student, sure, I guess you could make it through just memorizing, but you want to be able to use the book and the examples in the book and apply it to what the concepts that we're talking about. And I think that's the most important thing of all, is to be able to actually understand it at the end of the day. So with that being said, that's the end of the syllabus review. I look forward to week number 2 when we talk a little bit more, or when I talk a little bit more and we start kind of getting into the meat of the textbook and what have you. Don't forget the check-in part, everybody, okay? It's very, very important that you do the check-in part. Any other questions, feel free to, if you tweet me, if that's the right way to say it. Be patient. Again, email is quite, honestly, always the best for me. So with that being said, that's the end of the syllabus review. Welcome to the course, AJ101, Criminal Law Online, and good luck to all of you as we kind of go through this course together this semester. I'll talk to you soon.